You're trying to look smack and you're flooded with a litany of information telling you to do this and that, and next thing you know you're stuck in a loop of trying out dozens of random methods promoted by teenage TikTokers that probably don't even work. If you really want to look smack, you need to start with the meat and potatoes, the things that actually work. No gimmicks, no sticking your fingers in your mouth trying to contort your facial features. If you were starting Looks Maxine from level 0, this is how you should go about it: blank canvas. Before you can even think about looks maxing, the first step is stripping back to the essentials, your raw frame. That means dialing in your body fat to a healthy, lean level. Until you do that, you're working with a distorted image. High body fat hides your actual bone structure, blurs your facial aesthetics, and makes it impossible to assess what you're really working with. So, the first milestone: get lean. This is your blank canvas. Now, there's 1,000 ways to go about lean maxing. But the truth is, most of them are overcomplicated, inefficient, or just flat out wrong. In our 8-week lean maxing guide on FreshPilled, I teach a streamlined approach that I've refined over time, tested on dozens of transformations and optimized to real results. Here's the gist of it. Learn what your true daily maintenance intake is. Enter a calculated deficit based on data, not guesses. Use macros to preserve muscle while stripping fat. Use refeeds to avoid metabolic damage and plateaus. Hybrid physique. Bodybuilding can get you lean and muscular, but it often misses something critical: movement quality. Too much isolation training can make you, music, look inflamed, stiff, and disconnected, like your body's been assembled in parts, not as a unified system. We want to train like a hybrid athlete. So, what does that mean? Athletes build their bodies through a few foundational methods: strength training, conditioning, and skill training. And we're going to do the same, but in a smart, efficient, and aesthetic-focused way. Weightlifting: you do progressive overload with intelligent programming. This means compound movements with some isolation to round it out. Next is cardio and conditioning. Don't be allergic to cardio like most gym guys. 2 sessions a week of some mild intensity like walking on an inclined treadmill and 1 session of high intensity, interval training will have insane benefits. And finally, skill training. Pick one body weight height, skill like the PLCH, handstand push-up, ISIT, or muscle up and start at the easiest progression and build, on it over time. Spend just 5 to 10 minute micro sessions on this skill during your workouts. It'll help you develop better posture, better core and stabilizer strength, and you'll gain that much-awaited, body awareness and control that a lot of bodybuilding routines lack. This is hybrid training. Just as a note, during the entire time you're doing this, don't cut your hair or beard. Let it all grow. It's a cool way to mark the beginning and end of your journey, and adds to the entire transformation. Glowing skin. While you're doing all this, getting lean and training right, this is the perfect time to start your skincare routine. And I'm not talking about some 15-step TikTok routine. I'm talking about a skincare protocol based on hydration that's simple, effective, and scientifically backed. This is the skincare routine that I've helped a ton of guys get insane results with. And I'm sharing it with you because it's not fair to keep something this good. Here show it goes. Cold water in the morning. Wake up, splash your face. That's it. No harsh cleansers, no stripping the oils off of your face. You only use a cleanser at night, and a gentle one at that. Next is hyaluronic acid morning and night. This active ingredient is going to keep your skin hydrated, and that's half the battle when it comes to skincare. Right after you use hyaluronic acid, you lock it in with a nice heavy moisturizer. If you have acne, blackheads, uneven skin tone, you don't need 1,000 products for these. You just need one, and that's Tinanoan. You need a prescription for it. But if you have any of those problems, it's highly recommended you talk to your doctor. And finally, slugging 2 to 3 times a week, slugging is basically putting a layer of Vaseline over your skin to help it repair overnight. And that's it. Nothing fancy, just results. Do this for a few weeks and your skin going to look the best it's ever looked. Now, let's talk about making your skin glow. And I'm basically just talking about getting some light and color into your skin and undertone. I'm Aviva Carter and I'm going to tell you how I went from this to the color you see now without letting any harmful aging sunlight touch my skin. So to get a carotenoid tan, you can eat heaps of vegetables and certainly do eat a healthy amount of vegetables. But to hack the system even more, I take carotenoid supplements. Personally, I take 24 mg of Azanthus and 50 mg of lycopene. And doing that, it took about 2 months or so for my skin to start changing color. Iopine and Gazin, these are supplements that make your skin glow. It doesn't matter what your skin tone is. These work by changing your undertone just slightly to be a warmer color. It's subtle but makes a huge difference. Music, and while all this is happening, your body is changing. Your skin's glowing. You're letting your hair and beard grow out, too. And maybe it's getting a little wild, maybe your unibrow is filling in, let it, that's part of the process. Music, this isn't the polished version of you yet. This is the cocoon phase. Let it get a little messy, you'll clean it all up when the time is right. And when you do, the difference will hit even harder. Facial contrast. Faces with contrast are simply more attractive. And there are ways that we can build some contrast into music, our own face. A few examples would be using more of a red tint lip balm for your lips, music, to make it stand out. For the hair on your face, you could start using a little bit of a beard pencil to make your eyebrows. Or if you rock a beard or even a disconnected goatee, you can make it darker and make the contrast stand out even more. If you want to go hardcore, you can start adding some minoxidil to grow your eyebrows and beard thicker and darker. Either way works. The goal, music, is to develop some contrast in the face. And then we take this contrast to the next level by grooming. Start getting your eyebrows cleaned up so it has a nice natural shape that looks masculine, but it still looks clean enough so that there's a clear separation between the skin and the eyebrows. Facial balancing. This is where we use some of our natural features in strategic, music, ways to balance out our face. If you got a big forehead or a long face, put your hair down a bit to balance that out. If you got a weak chin, grout your beard. If you got big lips, get a disconnected goatee to make it stand out. What you're trying to do here is balance out your face in a way that's aesthetic. And this can be hard to objectively do yourself. Like you might think a certain hairstyle looks good and it ends up looking terrible on you and you've just wasted music, months of hair growth. That's why Built Rape by Fresh. It has a feature called Hairstyle Pack that lets you pick from a giant list of hairstyles. You can see exactly, music, what you'd look like with a mid-fade, a fringe, curtains, whatever, before you even step into a barber shop. It's honestly been a game changer for guys trying to figure out what actually works for their features. You're not just guessing anymore, you're, music, actually seeing it. You could download it free. It's called Rape by Fresh. Just search it up in the App Store or go to rapbyfresh.com. Now, at this point, we've done a ton of work and avoided any of the weird stuff like putting your thumb in your mouth and pushing things around. We've just focused on the bread and butter, music, methods that actually give results. Now, let's move on to a more sensitive topic. Failures. You probably have a feature that's often called a failure, which really just, music, means flaw that might be holding you back, and it's time to see if you could address that in any way. If you have a big gap in your tooth, maybe it's time to go to the dentist or orthodontist and fix that. If you have a really weak chin, can't grow a beard, and it really bothers you, maybe you could speak to a professional about that. This is the part where it gets really personal, and you've got to really be mentally sound to assess it. But if it's an actual thing that can be fixed, and you see this all the time, someone with a recessed chin gets it fixed and instantly goes up like 3 points. I don't like talking too deeply about this because it gets murky. 1. Don't want to bring it up and turn people neurotic because, to be honest, 90% of you guys just doing the bread and butter stuff are going to be looking so much better, especially compared to the average guy. Just go outside and look at the average guy. I bet you could spot maybe 1 in 1,000 people that look like they're even in shape. So, don't sweat it too much, but it would be disingenuous if I didn't mention it. Now, I've compressed looks maxing into just a few minutes of video. But you have to remember that each of these things takes weeks and months of effort. So, don't try and rush through it. Enjoy the journey and do it correctly, and you're going to look so much more attractive.